Most executives have the expertise but not the architecture to turn it into consistent market authority. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to show you the system I built to produce 9 content assets from one script every week, automatically, without a content team. Here is what I am covering today. 1. Why most executives with genuine expertise are invisible in their market, and why discipline is not the fix. 2. The structural pattern I recognized that changed how I think about content entirely. 3. The 3-layer architecture behind ContentPath, the system I built inside AmplifyPath that produces 9 assets from one script every week. 4. What this means for any executive, advisor, or technology vendor trying to build category authority without losing their week. 5. The one decision that separates the people who own their category from the ones who compete in someone else's. Most executives produce one piece of content and disappear for 3 weeks. They write a LinkedIn post when something occurs to them, publish it once, and then wonder why their market authority is not building. The problem is not discipline, it is not motivation, it is not time. The problem is architecture. They are treating content as a series of individual creative acts when it needs to be a system. And without the system, the expertise stays locked inside the person who has it, invisible to the market that needs it. I recognized the pattern about 6 months into building my own content operation. Every piece of authority content I produce follows the same underlying structure. Observation, diagnosis, framework, leadership implications, strategic insight. Every newsletter edition, every blog post, every video script. The same 5-part argument expressed differently for each channel and each audience. Once I saw that, the question became obvious. If the argument is the same, why am I rebuilding it from scratch for every channel? The answer was that I had been thinking about content as individual outputs rather than as a system. Each channel felt like a separate project. Each one competed for attention with my actual advisory work. So some channels got fed and some went quiet. And a quiet channel is not neutral. It signals to your market that you are not present. The fix was not more discipline. The fix was architecture. One structured argument generated once, expressed across every channel through a system that does the routing automatically. That is the insight ContentPath is built on. Here is the diagnosis. The old model treats every channel as a separate content project. You write a LinkedIn post. Separately, you write a newsletter. Separately, you think about what to put on the blog. Each one feels like a fresh creative act. Each one competes for your time. So most of the time, only 1 or 2 happen. The rest go quiet. But the deeper problem is not the effort. It is what the old model costs you structurally. You are spending creative energy on distribution decisions rather than on the quality of the argument itself. You are solving a systems problem with willpower, and willpower is not a scalable content strategy. The executives building real category authority right now have stopped treating content as individual acts and started treating it as governed output from a system. The argument is produced once. The system handles the rest. Consistency becomes the default output of the architecture, not a personal achievement. That shift is what ContentPath is built to deliver. ContentPath is the content intelligence system I built inside AmplifyPath. It operates in 3 layers. Layer 1 is the intelligence layer. Each week, Claude receives a structured prompt and generates a complete script, the full argument across all 5 narrative stages. From that one call, Claude also produces every asset format: the newsletter edition, the blog adaptation, the AVIXA article, the social captions, the short scripts. 9 assets, formatted for 9 channels, from a single structured input. The prompt architecture and the narrative structure are the intellectual property. The AI model is interchangeable. Layer 2 is the orchestration layer. An automated pipeline built in Google Apps Script runs on a fixed weekly schedule. Time-based triggers fire at a set time. The pipeline calls Claude, receives all 9 assets, writes each one to its correct destination, routes each asset to its channel, and fires a notification confirming everything is ready for review. No human decision sits between the trigger firing and the assets landing. This layer is independent of the AI model above it and the distribution platforms below it. That independence is what makes it durable. Layer 3 is the distribution layer. Blotado schedules the social posts, Synthesia renders the video. Claude Cowork publishes the blog, and GoDaddy. These platforms receive the output from the orchestration layer. They do not drive the system, they are the last mile. Most people building content systems start with the distribution tools and work backwards. ContentPath starts with the intelligence architecture and works forwards. That sequence is what makes it scale. If you are in an advisory, technology vendor, or leadership role and you are trying to build market authority, the implication is direct. Your expertise is not the bottleneck. You already have the ideas. You already have the frameworks. You already have the point of view your market needs to hear. The bottleneck is the architecture between that expertise and the market that should be hearing it every week. The executives building real category authority right now are not more talented. They have built better systems.
Willpower produces bursts. Architecture produces cadence. And cadence is what compounds.
Here's the strategic insight. You do not need more ideas. You do not need more discipline. You need one structured argument, expressed fully, distributed everywhere your audience is every week through a system that does not depend on your energy to run.
One script, 9 assets every week, that is how category authority compounds. Not through individual moments of brilliance, through the structured, consistent presence that only a system can sustain. Build the architecture. The authority follows. If you want to understand how this architecture applies to your advisory practice, your technology vendor go-to-market, or your executive brand, the starting point is strategicpathways.asia. The link to our website is in the description. Thank you for watching.